And this is the story of how one nosy Karen's obsession with control led to her spectacular downfall, and a victory for every homeowner who's ever been pushed around. Before we dive in, hit that like button if you've ever dealt with an overzealous HOA. You're not alone. Drop your location in the comments. Let's build a community of fighters right here and share the strategies that win these battles. The story starts with a peaceful inheritance that quickly spiraled into a nightmare. My Uncle Morris was a tough-as-nails Vietnam vet, a man of few words but immense backbone, who owned a breathtaking 2-acre lakefront property in Pine Ridge, 200 feet of pristine shoreline, a cozy 1960s cabin with good bones, though it needed some TLC. When cancer claimed him last spring, he left it all to me in his will. The deed, dated 1962, was ironclad. Full ownership, right to the water's edge, signed 15 years before the Pine Ridge HOA even formed in 1977. Morris had paid cash for this slice of paradise back when lakefront land was cheap, mentioning busybody neighbors once or twice but never elaborating. I chalked it up to small-town quirks, figuring I'd deal with the usual gossip or petty politics. I couldn't have been more wrong. On a perfect June Saturday, I pull up in my pickup truck, loaded with tools, basic furniture, and a few boxes of personal memories. The air's thick with the scent of pine needles and clean lake water. Gravel crunches satisfyingly under my tires. Kids' laughter and splashes echo across the shore. It's the kind of moment that feels like freedom, until it's rudely interrupted. Barely out of the truck, trouble arrives like a storm cloud in a white BMW X5 screeching up my gravel driveway. Out steps Delilah Kramer, HOA president for 8 unchallenged years, her blonde hair screaming expensive salon visits, clutching a clipboard like it's a badge of supreme authority. There's no hello, no neighborly welcome, just a sharp, "Do you have permits for this activity?" Activity? Lady, I'm moving boxes into my own house. I calmly explain the inheritance, showing her my driver's license and the deed. She barely glances at the documents before launching into a lecture about community standards, restricted access, and how my legally parked truck is blocking emergency lake access. I keep unloading, a toolbox here, a recliner there, trying to stay focused on the task at hand. That's when her face twists like I've personally insulted her entire existence. Out comes her phone, filming me like I'm a criminal caught red-handed. "Sir, you're refusing to comply with community regulations," she narrates loudly, ensuring every neighbor within earshot hears her performance. Then, without missing a beat, she dials 911. "I need to report a suspicious individual refusing community guidelines." My heart's pounding, but I keep my cool, though inside I'm fuming. This is my property, deeded, paid for, mine. What would you do if someone called the cops on your moving day? The audacity is unreal. 20 minutes later, 2 patrol cars roll up, their lights cutting through the serene lake air. The officers are professional, checking my ID and verifying the deed matches my name. They ask if any actual crime's been committed. Delilah's still ranting about unpaid assessments and covenant violations, but the cops quickly realize it's just an HOA dispute. One officer mutters, "This is the 3rd call about this property this year," casting a weary glance at Delilah. She lets slip a snide comment about certain types disrupting established communities, her tone dripping with disdain. The dust kicked up by the patrol cars tastes metallic in the air, mixing with the overwhelming cloud of her perfume. The cops leave, deeming it a civil matter, but not before Delilah shoots me an icy smirk. "Welcome to the neighborhood. We'll be seeing a lot of each other." The words hang like a threat, but she had no idea how right she'd be, or how much she'd regret it. Textbook self-dealing. My cabin becomes a war room. Frank's old treasurer records, Chelsea's regulatory research, Marlene's community outreach, and Sarah, our fraud attorney, working contingency. We file complaints, Secretary of State for dissolution, County for tax fraud, Attorney General for consumer fraud, IRS for unreported income. Sarah explains, piercing the corporate veil. Delilah's personally liable for debts and damages, house, car, savings, all at risk. Delilah's desperation peaks. My mailbox is accidentally hit by a plow in July, suspiciously like her husband's truck on my cameras. She offers Frank 3 years fee forgiveness to stop digging. He records it. She spreads rumors I'll subdivide for rentals, faking proposals. Chelsea's questioned at work. Marlene's car is keyed with "mind your own business." Delilah files a false environmental complaint about my septic, risking thousands in tests. My cameras, logs, and allies' statements turn her harassment into criminal evidence. State investigator Patricia arrives, hauling evidence boxes from Delilah's frantic clubhouse search. The county confirms tax fraud. Channel 7's Maria Santos airs HOA fraud. Residents fight back. Delilah hides during interviews. The DA gets a criminal referral for fraud and forgery. A petition from 28 households demands Delilah's resignation and an audit. She tries dissolving the HOA, transferring assets to her husband. Sarah's injunction stops it cold. The IRS audits. The HOA's ex-attorney flips, revealing Delilah ignored legal advice. An illegal lien on my cabin is struck down in court with sanctions. The county hearing is electric. Packed room, Channel 7 filming. Commissioner Rodriguez lists findings. $127,000 in illegal fees, 3 years missing filings, $45,000 in tax fraud, forged documents. I play Delilah's recorded voice plotting to get rid of undesirable owners. The CRO UD gasps. Frank, Chelsea, and residents testify to years of intimidation. Rodriguez dissolves the HOA, orders refunds with interest, bans Delilah and her husband from HOA roles for 5 years, and returns common areas to residents. Outside, celebrations erupt. Kids swim freely, the lake ours again. Delilah's house faces foreclosure. Her marriage strained, her fake company sued. My cabin's value jumps $85,000. Refunds exceed $60,000. We form a true community association, transparent and fair, with a playground, rebuilt boat launch, and a Morris Memorial Trade Scholarship. Property values rise 25%. Our case sparks homeowner protection laws in 12 states, inspiring thousands. Sitting on Morris's dock, I taste justice in the lake air, honoring his legacy by fighting for the living. Got an HOA horror story? Share it below. Your fight could inspire others. Smash subscribe for more tales of beating bullies with legal smarts. Justice tastes sweetest with lake water freedom. Opening shot. A tranquil lake at sunset, waves lapping gently against a pristine shore, then a jarring cut to flashing police lights outside a rustic cabin. Suspenseful music swells, building tension. Text overlay flashes. The HOA Karen who called the cops and lost everything. Imagine this. I'm unloading boxes into my inherited lakefront cabin, ready to embrace a new chapter, when Delilah Kramer, a power-hungry HOA president with a clipboard and an ego to match, calls the cops on me for moving into my own legally owned property. What follows is a wild, twist-filled saga of fraud, relentless harassment, and a community uprising that not only dismantled her reign of terror, but got her entire HOA banned from the very lakeshore they'd gatekept for over 30 years. This isn't just a juicy revenge tale. It's a masterclass in fighting back against HOA bullies, packed with practical lessons on protecting your property rights, spotting scams, and turning the tables on those who try to steal what's yours. I'm Garrett, a 52-year-old marine mechanic from Pine Ridge, Michigan. I'm on Morris's porch, coffee tasting like freedom among pine trees, when a certified letter arrives from the HOA's legal department. Inside, a $15,000 bill for accumulated violations. The breakdown's absurd. $200 month maintenance fees for 5 years, $12,000, $500 for an unapproved 1987 deck repair, 3 rotted boards, $2,500 in shoreline usage penalties for my own lakefront, and $8,000 in legal costs. Creative accounting at its finest. I could have raged, but my divorce taught me. Fight paper with better paper. I head to the county clerk's office, smelling of old books and determination, and confirm my deeds ironclad predating the HOA. You can't change rules mid-game. Meanwhile, Delilah's playing politics, sending flyers to all 47 HOA households for an emergency meeting about security concerns and declining property values. Clip art red X over a house, subtle as a sledgehammer. I crash the meeting at their clubhouse, reeking of burnt coffee and old carpet. Delilah's PowerPoint features sneaky photos of my property, claiming it'll tank taxes. I stand with records. I'm Garrett, inherited from a Vietnam vet. Here's my deed, lake rights pre-HOA. The room falls silent. Afterward, allies emerge, Frank and Marlene, an elderly couple, and Chelsea, a single mom at the county planning office. They reveal Delilah's shaken down others. HOA finances smell fishy. Week 2 escalates. Orange violation notices staple-gunned everywhere. My truck, natural grass for erosion, the cabin's original stain. Fines at $50 day. I log it all. Times, photos, witnesses. Paperwork becomes my weapon. Delilah cranks the crazy to 11, twice daily drive-bys, photographing everything. Noise complaints for legal tool use, circular saw at 2 p.m. A fire department call on my permitted campfire, chief apologizes. Systematic harassment, letters, fake county complaints. Frank spills. Delilah's, run unopposed. Her husband owns the HOA's maintenance firm. Conflict of interest? Chelsea hints. Properties that pay get breaks. Fighters get violations. My water's mysteriously shut off. Fake, unpaid bill, $200 fix. I install legal security cameras, catching Delilah trespassing to photograph my electrical panel. I confront her. The only unsafe thing is your driving during these stalking sessions. She threatens cops again. I hand her my legal clinic's card, playing it cool. I file a trespass notice with the sheriff and a certified letter to the HOA attorney. Every harassment fuels my paper trail. Month 2. Delilah goes nuclear. A chain-link fence blocks the traditional lake path, 6 feet of metal with HOA property signs. It's not just my access. It cuts off Frank and Marlene's fishing spot. She's declared war on the neighborhood. My grandfather, a surveyor, taught me, fences hide true property lines. I hire a licensed surveyor, $800, confirming the fence is 15 feet onto my land, violating my 1962 deed rights. Delilah hires her husband's business partner as a surveyor, claiming my survey's biased despite identical measurements. She petitions the city council to challenge my waterfront status, hoping taxes force me to sell. Chelsea digs up 1970s aerial photos showing my path predates the HOA. Then the bombshell. 6 HOA properties, including Delilah's, falsely claimed waterfront tax breaks, totaling $45,000 in fraud over 5 years. This isn't just overreach. It's potential crime. Month 3, Chelsea drops a game-changer in her county office, surrounded by records and burnt coffee stench. Pine Ridge HOA hasn't filed state financial reports for 3 years, voiding their nonprofit status. Every fee, covenant, and threat since is invalid. Delilah's collected $200 a month from 47 households, over $100,000 yearly, but reported only $60,000. The rest? Funneled to her husband. It's fake Pine Ridge Property Management, a paper company with no office, just marked up subcontracts. A 2019 transcript shows Delilah voting herself contract control without approval. A serene lake at sunset. waves lapping gently, then a dramatic cut to police lights flashing outside a rustic cabin. Suspenseful music builds. Text overlay reads, "The HOA Karen who called the cops and lost everything." Picture this. I'm moving into my inherited lakefront cabin, ready for a fresh start, when a power-hungry HOA president named Delilah Kramer calls the cops on me for simply unloading boxes on my own property. What unfolds next is a wild tale of fraud, harassment, and a community uprising that not only dismantled her reign, but got her entire HOA banned from the very lakeshore they'd gatekept for over 30 years. This isn't just a juicy revenge story. It's a masterclass in fighting back against HOA bullies, packed with lessons on protecting your property rights and spotting scams. I'm Garrett, a 52-year-old marine mechanic from Pine Ridge, Michigan, and this is how one nosy Karen's ego led to her spectacular downfall. Before we dive in, hit that like button if you've ever dealt with an overzealous HOA. You're not alone. Drop your location in the comments. Let's build a community of fighters right here. The story begins with a peaceful inheritance that quickly turned into a nightmare. My Uncle Morris, a tough Vietnam vet with a heart of steel, owned a stunning 2-acre lakefront property in Pine Ridge, 200 feet of pristine shoreline, and a 1960s cabin that needed some TLC but had good bones. When cancer took him last spring, he left it all to me. His deed, dated 1962, was crystal clear. Full ownership down to the water's edge, signed 15 years before the Pine Ridge HOA even formed in 1977. Morris had bought it cash when lakefront was cheap, mentioning busybody neighbors, but never elaborating. I figured it was small-town quirks. I was wrong. On a perfect June Saturday, I pull up in my pickup, loaded with tools, furniture, and memories. The air smells of pine, needles and clean lake water, gravel crunches under my tires, kids laugh across the shore. It's paradise, until it isn't. Barely out of the truck, trouble arrives in a white BMW X5 screeching up my driveway. Out steps Delilah Kramer, HOA president for 8 unchallenged years, blonde hair screaming expensive salon, clutching a clipboard like a weapon. No greeting, just, "Do you have permits for this activity?" Activity? I'm moving boxes into my own house. I show her my ID and deed, explaining the inheritance. She barely glances before ranting about community standards and restricted access. My legally parked trucks blocking emergency lake access, she claims. I keep unloading, toolbox, recliner, and her face twists like I've committed a felony. Out comes her phone, filming me like I'm a viral crook. "Sir, you're refusing to comply," she narrates loudly, then dials 911. "I need to report a suspicious individual refusing community guidelines." Heart pounding, I stay calm but furious. This is my property, deeded and paid for. 20 minutes later, 2 patrol cars roll up. The officers are professional. They verify my ID and deed, confirm no crimes occurred. Delilah insists on unpaid assessments and violations. One cop mutters, "Third call about this property this year." She sneers about certain types disrupting established communities. The dust from the cars tastes metallic. Her perfume chokes the air. The cops leave, calling it an HOA spat. Delilah smirks. "Welcome to the neighborhood. We'll be seeing a lot of each other." She had no idea how right she was. Let's pause for a lesson. Here's where it gets educational. If you're dealing with an HOA, know your rights. First, check your deed. Mine predated the HOA, granting perpetual lake access explicitly. HOAs can't override older deeds without consent. That's Property Law 101. Second, document everything. Dates, times, witnesses. It turns harassment into evidence. Third, verify the HOA's legitimacy. More on that bombshell later. Back to the drama. 2 days later.